Welcome, everybody, to the Polished Pebbles Town Hall meeting. We're going to get started with Ms. Marita Hudson-Thomas.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today for the first ever Polished Pebbles virtual Moms Town Hall. I want to start with a qualifier. So Moms is in the title of this very important connection and conversation because this day was created by moms. But truly, we want anyone to join this conversation and discussion. So those listening to me, those who can see me, I want you to do me a favor. Text one person right now who you think might benefit or find a blessing in this conversation today and tell them to join us. So you're going to see me for a couple of things. You're going to see me a few times throughout the hour. So just a quick intro. My name is Marita Hudson Thomas. I am a very, very proud board member of Polished Pebbles. And Polished Pebbles is an organization that is truly near and dear to my heart because of its laser focus and mission on investing in our girls. And research shows us when we invest in our girls and their futures, we invest in the growth and the future of our community. Professionally, communications and public relations is my thing. I've done it across a number of industries for about 23 years, and I currently lead communications for a large Chicago-based tech company. However, my most important and biggest job in life
She muted her. Hey guys, we are going to shoot over to Kelly Fair really quickly as she is pull her up now.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I'm so grateful to step in and get that warm welcome from Marita Hudson Thomas, who is one of our Polished Pebbles board members, but she is a powerhouse and shero mom. And if you don't know me, and I'm grateful for her introduction and leading and getting us started, I'm Kelly Fair. I'm the founder and executive director of Polished Pebbles Growth Mentoring Program. And welcome to the Polished Pebbles Mommy and Me community. Like Marita mentioned, this is our first ever town hall meeting for mom, and we're calling it the State of the Moms. And it's perfect for me to just come on in and grab that baton from Marita, because this, like she said, was an event created by moms for moms. And it was born out of us deciding and looking at making some decisions about how do we continue to support and nurture our girls' dreams, even in COVID-19. And powerhouse moms like Marita and a couple others on this call really got together and said, this is what we need. And we figured out that first and foremost, we got to create a community for our moms, support systems for our moms, because it's just like when you get on an airplane. When the flight attendants are going through and telling you how to put on your seatbelt, when they tell you to put on that air mask, they tell you to put yours on first and then to put your babies on second. Guess what? In COVID-19, it's no different. You put on your N95 first, and then you put on your baby's N95 next to. And so that's what we're doing today. We've got wonderful experts, people from the mom community and the Polished Pebbles community coming together to share information for our moms with coping tips, help for your girls, help for your boys, help for all the different special situations you may be facing in keeping your household and keeping your family and your career afloat in COVID-19. And so what I'm here to just share today is how do we continue to nurture and support the ability of our girls to dream in COVID-19? Step one, moms, keep being the example, the CEOs of your household you've always been. You're showing your girls exactly how to move through crisis, how to keep them secure, keep them safe at a time like this. So be comfortable being that example. And then what else do you do? Do like my mama did. She was powerful. We watched her be a great mom, a great household manager, a great entrepreneur, but my mama wasn't stingy. She made sure that she was comfortable attaching me and sharing other women in my life who served as role models and mentors for me as well. And then finally, make sure you give them some tools and some routines. You can't always call mama. You may dial up the mentor and they're not available in a crisis or in the midst of everything. But when you know the practices, when you know the routines, you know what to do. And so we're so excited today because one of the practices and the routines that we'd like for you guys to get to know with Polished Pebbles in this Mommy and Me community is our new book that is now available for pre-sale today. If you go to www.kellykfair.com, and that book is Every Girl is a CEO. When you join and go to that page, and that link will actually be in your screen, you'll get a chance to see that you can purchase that book today. And that is exactly one of the tools that you can use to help your daughters dream in COVID-19 and prepare for future careers. And we'll be talking about that shortly. So today I'm going to bring you guys a bunch of experts, people from our community that can help moms get through COVID-19. Remember, write down your questions. Make sure if you have comments, put them in a comments box. We'll be paying attention. We'll have a full-on Q&A towards the end of the session. And then also, stay tuned. Don't jump off. We got some special deals and some special opportunities. We like Oprah. We love giving out great things for our moms and our daughters even at this special time. So hold on at the end, and we'll be able to tell you about some other special offers that we have. I want to bring on our first guest, and I think we're here in a moment. And our first guest, here she is the one and only, the beautiful Dr. Gia Scuggs. With Polished Pebbles, we focus on helping girls become CEOs, prepare for the future workplace. We're on that early end of the pipeline and the spectrum. But the wonderful thing about this expert, Dr. Gia, is that she's on the other end of the spectrum. She is here for the moms, helping you know she's a scientist, she's an academic. She knows how to work with Fortune 500 companies and women like you to break through the glass ceiling. And the powerful thing is, and this is what I love, Dr. G is not just going to help you break through that glass ceiling. She's going to make sure your paper is in alignment with where you're going. Got to get the dollars, right? It's levels to this. So I am very, very grateful to have Dr. Gia here with us today, as she's going to talk to you guys about creating balance. Dr. Gia, thank you so much.
Kelly, thank you so much. And what I also want to do is thank you for your heart, your conviction, and the intensity of your commitment to support Black and Brown girls. I am so excited to be here. I have been looking forward to this. And so as I've been thinking about this conversation and COVID, I knew if we were going to talk about this topic, we had to address culture and cultural expectations. And so that reminded me of Brene Brown in her Netflix special. She mentioned a product that I have not heard in a very long time. How many of you all remember Agility? And even if you don't remember the name, I wonder if perhaps you recall the jingle. This is my my pen mic. This was the jingle. I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and never, ever, ever let you forget you're a man, 'cause I'm a woman. Actually, how many of you all just now sang along? So for those of you who are not within the generational age range that remembers that commercial, she can go to work, she can purchase the bacon, she could bring it home, she can cook it. She's not tired that evening, and she can wake up at 5:30 in the morning and do it all over. That is the cultural expectation for women. And for you and I, we get to be Agility women too, as long as we can climb over the healthcare, social, economic, and cultural barriers that are unique to women of color. So if those are the everyday expectations, then how does this look during COVID? And I felt like this is the question we needed to address. And I think for me, I had to give myself permission to turn inwards Because like many of you, I am used to caring for other people. I am used to pouring out of my cup into the cups of everybody else that I love and that I care about, because I want their cup to stay full. And at a minimum, I don't want their cup to be empty. And when we are constantly pouring out of our cup into everybody else's cup, and so I had to give myself permission to turn inward. Now, if you are like me, and I know that many of you are, and you are accustomed to taking care of other people, this is not easy. This is tough. This goes back to the cultural construct around culture we just talked about. And I know I am not getting ready to deconstruct centuries of cultural grooming for women here in America, but I would like to give you Glennon Doyle's frame. She talks about how women are rewarded for being selfless, for being selfless, selfless. So just suspend disbelief here with me for just one moment. And instead of less, what if that frame of reference was more? That we were more fully ourselves, and that when our cups were empty, we gave ourselves permission to take time for ourselves until our cups were full again. Even if there were other people and other things around us that needed us, we gave ourselves permission to turn inward. Because if we are more and not less, maybe our cups wouldn't run so low. And if we have more, then doesn't that mean we have more for the people that we care about and the people that we love? So as I thought about all of this, I realized that I should probably come clean. You know, the first 6 months of this year, I think have been terrible. All the things that we planned and scheduled, the speaking events, the client projects, most of them have been postponed. And instead of sitting in a place of disappointment and frustration, I realized I had to stay grounded in the face of current reality and remind myself that it was okay to turn inward when I needed to. And when I did, it allowed me to focus on my intentions. And my intentions are the things that I purposed for this year. My intention is not the activities, but the impact I intended to have. Even if the activities are not going to be the same, my intention can still be the same. Now, to be clear, I know that this is easier said than done, but I also know that it's possible. And I know that it's possible because we have an example right here today. She has demonstrated what it looks like to focus on intentions, even when all your plans have just been wrecked. And even though she may not be able to reach out and hug her girls like she's used to, we are all still here today because of Kelly's commitment to making a difference and the impact of her intentions. So what about you? What are your intentions? Stephanie?
Hey guys, how are you? Thank you, Dr. Gia. That was amazing what you just said, to be able to give permission to just take some time for ourselves. I'll tell you the truth. Last night I came in, true story. Last night I came in and I sat down on the couch to get something to eat. And it was like maybe 6 o'clock in the evening. And I woke up at 3:55. Like it was a total shutdown for body because I never give myself that permission, especially now in COVID-19. I have a salon that I own, and then I have a business, a manufacturing plant that I co-own. And inside of that, we are pivoting. And so trying to do the great pivot has definitely, it's been a struggle and it's been hard. And then I'm this mother, and I'm also a newly, corporate board member for Polished Pebbles.
Yes.
And so there are so many things that's going on. And I joke all the time and I say, when I signed up to have my kids, I was literally signing up for like 4 hours out of the day, Monday through Friday, because they were going to be at school. So this whole 24-hour thing, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I'm joking. But in that, all day during the day when we're still trying to work, and then we're coming and we're home trying to parent, and we're having the kids all the time. I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, and my 9-year-old boy, he's extremely active. When I say extremely active, like my kitchen is now a basketball court, and he also wants to have a six-pack. So he's dropping down and doing crunches like all the time. It's the weirdest thing ever. And so I am really happy to be able to introduce Vondale Singleton. He is coming on, and he's going to help. I'm hoping give me some stuff that I can take home with my kids to help me. And Vondale is just a champion for children in general. He spent several years as a assistant principal for the Garrett Comer schools, and now is the director of communication or of community engagement. Excuse me, let me get it right. The director of community engagement. And he also is an advocate for boys by having a male mentoring program called Champs, which is culturally helping and making positive successes. And I believe I heard that at your third annual Born to Win conference, you had over 500 youth you helped there. And so that's amazing. I know you're in touch with a lot of boys. I have a boy that I'd love to send you if you don't mind taking him, my 9-year-old. So if you can give us any tips and helps, please, as a mom, help me with what I'm going through at home with these kids.
So first of all, I just want to say thank you to Kelly Fair and the Polished Pebbles. This is an honor, complete honor to be here with you. Just want to share a couple of tips. First of all, let me just encourage you, mother, you are the jewel of the earth. You are the center of the world, and you're the apple of God's eye, right? So just take that in for a second, because I think what happens is throughout tumultuous times in building relationships with our young men, we beat ourselves up. And so be gracious and kind to yourself, especially during this tumultuous time. So let me start with that. And then let me give some perspective. Neither did you or your son ask for this situation, right? This wasn't like a planned situation where, okay, we're going to be COVID-19, we're going to be shut down. But I will say the power of proximity, it can create more angst. I don't care how great the relationship was. I don't care how old young man, if he's a 6-year-old or 16-year-old, right? So one of the things that I talk about in social emotional learning, the first competency is self-awareness. And I think as we go back to managing emotions, stress levels, and anxiety, it's important that you do not, listen to this very carefully, don't let your emotions be hijacked. Don't get emotionally hijacked, right? Keep everything into perspective. So the first tip that I want to give you, listen to your son. Watch this, without judgment. Listen to your son without judgment. That's right. Boys have a tendency through their hormonal process, especially teenage boys, they don't talk very much. So the number one thing that I get all the time is, hey, Mr. Singleton, I used to have this great relationship with Johnny. We're just going to use Johnny. But when he hit 14, 15, he just stopped talking to me. So here's a little research. Katie McPherson, who's the executive director of the Gurian Institute and the co-author of the book Why Teens Fail, What to Fix. She says, and this is true, that women have more connective tissue between the right and left brain. So, mothers, you process language much more quickly than your son. So, through the adolescent stage and growing stages with boys, it's important that a young man's silence isn't offensive to you. So let me give you some tips throughout this natural developmental stage where you feel like, you know what, he don't want to have anything to do with me. He's going through things. His body is growing. His mind is growing, right? His relationship's going. And the last thing that we want to do is disconnect ourselves to our sons, where our sons don't want to have anything to do with us, because every time the little few words that he gonna say, he gets shut down quick and you run in circles around him talking. Let him talk, listen to him, right? And probe. It's very important that you probe and ask questions. Why? Is because it's going to allow opportunities to talk. So here's another thing. You may have given your son some expectations and responsibilities, right? Like you want him to do his chores, you want him to go to school, get good grades, you want him to have healthy relationships. And so when it comes to listening, you may want to be very careful on the confrontational part, right? So if you have to confront your son for not following expectations, try your best to do it in a very calm and a very non-confrontational tone. And that comes across through body language, right? Rolling of the eyes, and I told you and this, that, because what it's going to do is going to hinder the ability for your son to develop the communication skills necessary to communicate with you. And I know sometimes it's hard to do. So here's a tip. Once you establish expectations, right? He knows he's supposed to do his chores. He knows he's supposed to bring good grades home. Let's say he didn't do his chores or follow the expectations that you set. Ask him the question, why didn't you follow through with the expectations that we set? Right? Before you go off, before you say, I told you this, I told you that, all that's going to do is just, again, cut into the relationship. So ask the question, what happened? Why didn't you follow the expectations? And give the space to listen without judgment. And another thing is, you will find that once you start taking these baby steps in your relationship with your son, it's going to build a confidence, not just you, but in a young man. Second thing, mutuality. The most powerful thing that you can do as a mom is to establish mutuality. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Co-create and design things that you want to do, right, together. So invite him into the whole process. So going back to the expectations of chores. All right. You want to play games all day. You talking to your son. You want to be on the phone all day, on social media all day, but you haven't cleaned your room. You haven't took the trash out. Right. Let me ask you a question. Did y'all establish that together? I know you think, well, it's my house. They supposed to do what I tell them to do. Get it. Got it. But again, you don't want to lose your son. You don't want to lose your son. So sit down and say, hey, let's agree to something. You will be able to play your game, get on the phone when you follow these expectations. Now, let's come up with the expectations together. Okay, let's make it fair. So this could be daily tasks. Again, it can be chores. It can be responsibilities at school. It can be relationship. It can be being outside, which we know we kind of shut down on that one. But the bottom line is proximity. Again, you're in this space now where you have to value one another. Why? Is because in the long run, you want to be able to build the confidence in your son that he's able to trust you that when he does come to you with whatever he's coming to you with, he know that you're going to have his back. And then another thing is this: when we talk about mutuality, make sure that your expectations are clear, concise, and reasonable. Let me say it again. Write this down. Clear. You want to have clear expectations. You want to have concise, not a whole Bible. And then you want to make sure that they are reasonable. So here's the thing. Even though you go through all of these things, leave room for mistakes. You will make mistakes as a mother. They will make mistakes as young men. So leave room for that and allow grace for one another. Trust me. Some of the best failures lead to the greatest opportunities. Let me say it again. Some of the best failures lead to the greatest opportunities. In these relationships, human relationships, we're always making mistakes. But the thing that we have to keep in mind, we're in this for the long run. Don't allow one failure or one mistake in your relationship with your son, right? And then the last point that I want to give is I want you, right, to create content, have fun, create opportunities. So whether it's exercising together, right, taking some time to learn a dance off TikTok, that's something that my family's doing, my wife and my kids. I have a 6-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter. So they own TikTok learning these dances. Why? Because it's hard to quarrel with someone you having fun with. But if you never create the opportunity, you can never establish having fun with somebody. Playing cards is another way. Cooking together, right? Passing on some family traditions that maybe you had from your mother or your grandmother. Watching a movie, talking and planning out the future around school. A lot of kids have anxiety from transition, going from kindergarten, not having a graduation in person. 8th grade, not having a graduation. High school, not having a graduation. College, not having a graduation. So what creatively can you do now to fill that void, especially with your young men? You'll be surprised that when you create the opportunity and a space for it, what happens, right, to that relationship. So again, I just want to share, we don't want to lose our children, especially our sons. Here's why. The prison systems are taking our sons. Unemployment rates are taking our sons. The gangs are taking our sons. The last thing that we want is for our sons to be taken away from the home. So just wanted to give that to you. Once again, thank you for the opportunity. Meditate and pray. And remember, you're the apple of God's eye. You're the jewel of the earth. Mother, you are powerful. Use your influence.
Vondale, you are incredible. You have preached to us this morning, and I want to say your words have really spoken to me. And I think sometimes the things that we forget in the midst of all of this is to just have fun.
Yes.
One thing that you mentioned is our graduating seniors, our kids who are graduating who won't get that experience. So what I want to do is bring up Marva Nichols now. She is an entrepreneur. She is an executive. She is a wonderful person, but she is the mom of 6 children, 2 of which are graduating seniors, 1 graduating from high school, and 1 who just graduated from the Jackson State University this week. And she's also the mom of a young autistic son. So we thought that Marva would be so valuable to add some perspective to this conversation today. So welcome, Marva. And Marva and I are just going to have a conversation. So Marva, you have 2 graduating seniors. Yes. What have you done to keep them excited and motivated about the next step in their life when they're not experiencing it the way everyone else usually does?
Well, thank you, Marita, for the introduction, and I want to say good morning to everyone. But one of the few things I've done is basically take an emotional pulse of my daughters who are experiencing some emotional difficulties because of the pandemic and their senior years not playing out as planned. But it is important as a mother to make sure that our children, my children, are emotionally sound. So I've just been making sure that I am talking with them, encouraging them, pouring into their soul and into their minds, and letting them know that they're resilient because they're going through this, and that this time is creating fortitude for their future. And so it's just been, it's been difficult. I've had them crying or just feeling like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And a lot of anxiety. So that's one of the things I've been doing. Another thing is promoting that they keep their regular routine in place, getting up every morning, showering, combing their hair, getting a bite to eat, putting on clothes, and preparing for virtual learning every day, and finishing strong, turning in their assignments, and being academically excellent. Although they're not in front of their teachers and around their classmates, it's important to remain academically sound and to finish strong. Also, just helping them to look at this through a different lens. That this is an opportunity for growth and learning, and they're both transitioning into another level of learning. So Destiny will be going to pharmacy school, and Laura will be going to her undergraduate study. So at this time, they're actually learning how to master self-directed learning. We know that during our elementary and high school years, you were kind of spoon-fed our via instruction. However, this is teaching them to be self-motivated, to get up and learn and teach themselves, and create small study groups amongst their friends and their colleagues. So I've just been trying to be very supportive. My high school senior is also an athlete, and so all spring sports have been canceled, and so she was looking so forward to competing on a state level. She's a track and field star here in Illinois. She's ranked number 5 in shot put and discus. And so all of the offers and the coaches calling, it stopped. We've had a few, but no one's really offering. So I've become her sports agent. And I started tapping into my resources. I reached out to North Carolina A&T, didn't get a response. We spoke with ISU. They weren't talking any money, but I did tap into my alma mater, Grambling State University. The coach and the AD reached out to me. They offered her an $8,000 scholarship to compete via Division I school. So we as parents have to continue to be an advocate for our children at this time. And also with the whole graduation prom, we know that they watch their siblings, their family, cousins and friends go on prom. And that's every girl and boy's dream. However, it's been taken away from them as they planned or what they expected. However, I'm going to follow the lead of the students and celebrate what they plan for them, how they plan for them. And then, of course, I'm going to celebrate via Zoom parties with our family members and friends across the country, create picture videos, purchase yard signs with their pictures, and then celebrate sometime next year, the both of them, because we can't just let this go by without doing something formal. So we're just working through this and making sure that they are emotionally sound and getting them everything that they need to succeed in the next level.
That's wonderful. It is so important that we continue to celebrate our children when they won't have those formal celebrations. So Marva, you're also the mother of a young autistic son. I know he's 7 years old. Tell me how this time has been for you as you've been sheltering at home and staying home with him and working with him all day, every day.
It's been very challenging, but yet rewarding. Thomas is a high functioning autistic kid, but he has a lot of meltdowns and his speech is delayed. So what I've done is basically met with his teachers. They sent me over a daily schedule, which helps me to help him keep on track. We know that his tasks are getting up, brushing his teeth, and they're visual pictures so that he'll understand what his next task is. I've also created stations in my home for him to work in, which helps him with his schedule. And I've also created sensory times for him because when he becomes overwhelmed, he starts to melt down. So I've taken something as simple as white beans, putting them in a container. And he has a shovel and a bowl, and he's filling the beans, and it's helping to soothe him. He's soothing himself, and even sometimes if he gets overwhelmed, I'll give him a midday bath. Water always helps to calm him, and just the ADHD part of him has really pushed me to a whole nother level. Being with him 24/7, it's just been overwhelming for me and my two teenage children who are at home with me. And so I decided to take him to his pediatrician and ask for an extended release medication. And so she told me he would be lethargic and that it would calm him down. Well, it didn't happen like that. He went into this anxiety attack, and he was calling my name. He was grabbing his eyes and his ears, and I was feeling helpless, and all I could do was like hold my baby and just try to aid him. But I spoke with one of my girlfriends is a lead social worker, and she's dealt with children who are medicated, and she said, well, Marva, you're gonna have to at least give it 2 years, give him a smaller dosage. So I started giving him a third of the dosage that the doctor recommended, and it seems to be leveling him out. And so this is a great time to put your children on medication if you ever thought about it. I've tried the natural, things, but it hasn't, worked like I needed it to work. And again, being with him 24/7 was kind of driving me. So, but it's allowing me to watch him throughout the day, how the medication is affecting him. I'm journaling, and so it's just as a mother of a special needs child, it's been hard, but it's been rewarding. So that's how I've managed. And I'm gonna look into neurofeedback again. That is a treatment that with active brain waves in the frontal lobe, which affects the self-regulation, and then it also can increase the brain waves and the speech on the left side of the brain. It's very expensive, but it is well worth it. I saw some improvement with the neurofeedback, and doctors are actually treating people at this time. So we're in the pandemic via the neurofeedback. So if you are a special needs mom, the mom of a special needs child, look into that to maybe help you.
So Marva, thank you for that. So I know there are many parents out there who can relate and who are going through the same thing. So I thank you so much for pouring your heart and really telling the truth and putting it all on the table. So as we wrap up, just give us some final thoughts. You have 6 children. How do you take care of you? How do you take care of yourself? If you don't have time, do you make time for yourself?
Well, prior to the pandemic, I was really running a rat race. My life was very, very busy with my job, and just managing my children was a lot. So I've been able to kind of have some quiet time, but every day I'm praying. I'm on the prayer call Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with my church, and we're praying throughout the day. And, God has always been my source. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, I just go to Him, and I just run into His shadow, and I just look to Him for all of my peace. And so that's first and foremost what I do, and have always done all of my life. Secondly, I take long baths now. I ask older children to watch Thomas for me, and I put on my favorite music. I love India Ari, the little things and strength, courage, and wisdom. That gets me in a good space, and other songs that and music that I've come across during the season. And lastly, I created this term called self wealth, which is another term for self care,
Self,
and
self,
it's self wealth. You got to invest in yourself, and it means like taking time. Even when I go, to make a store run, I sit in the car for a minute before I go back in the house, just to take some time. I will escape to my car. Yes, I will. I will do that. But self wealth is what I've created for myself, and so I want to encourage all moms to implement self wealth. Invest in yourself; you're worth it, and life is marvelous. So, Marita, thank you for this conversation, and I hope that something I've shared can help someone out in the world.
thank you.
Yes, well, without further ado, I'm going to introduce and bring another guest onto our virtual stage. She's a Chicago native, a philanthropist, and entrepreneur with over 25 years of nonprofit management, marketing, and community service. She founded the Millhouse Charities in 2012, and she focuses on creating sustainable and enduring educational opportunities. She has a heart for service and strategic business partnerships in Chicago and the surrounding communities. Ladies and gentlemen, mothers and brothers, please welcome the powerhouse, Dr. Dawn Millhouse.
Wow, Marva, who did you just introduce? That's me?
Right there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Polished Pebbles. I just want to start by saying I, too, am a proud board member of Polished Pebbles. I take it as an honor. I'm extremely humbled to be in the company of such incredible people like you, Vondell, and some of the others that are coming up after. I believe that legacy is the cure for what happens for the future of our children. And things like this, the mission, the very mission of Polished Pebbles is recreating and regenerating the legacy that we've lost over generations and generations. Kelly asked me to talk about being a Nana, and I became a Nana through one of my bonus babies. And the importance of grandparenting and being a grandparent. And my personal and professional belief is that, there's a staircase, and in order to get to the top, you have to take each stair because there's value in each step. And grandparents and great grandparents provide that. Without those necessary steps, it is and can be more difficult to reach your ultimate goal or peak in your life plan. And so COVID-19 has really touched our intergenerational disparity that already exists in communities of color, because we know by statistic that the disproportionate number of people that are losing this battle are of color and definitely are seniors. They are vulnerable. They should be protected. And those are the grandparents. Those are the legacy builders. Those are the foundations and the cornerstones of our families. Like Vondell said, that they are the jewels. They're the precious jewel, the crown jewel. A grandparent is the crown jewel in a moment like this. And I just want to say a few things as it regards to maintaining resiliency and being vulnerable at the same time is important. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, to not know, but to remember who you are and to remember whose you are. Sports were canceled. Love hasn't been canceled. the Essence Fest was canceled, and I was going, but Compassion hasn't been canceled, and we have to remember that in broken times we come out better. Our world and our children and our pebbles are depending on us to find the strength to keep pushing, because this will become part of their legacy. Nana, Madeira, Mima, Gigi, Grandma, Grammy, whatever that person calls you, whether it's by blood or relationship surrogacy, make certain that you maintain integrity of that cornerstone. Buildings fall, cornerstone never falls. And we have to strengthen and remain vigilant in becoming and recreating and reestablishing the legacy that respectfully was taken us, or disrespectfully was taken from us on a boat hundreds of years ago. We are our own legacy. Polished Pebbles' mission is to invest in girls and boys to recreate these legacies, to regenerate those legacies. And there's no time like the present, because you're at home with your kids, to talk about family, to make certain they know family. Study your genealogy. Remind them that they are the descendants of kings and queens. Remind them of the resilience of the people, the skin color that we represent, and that we will be better from this. Not our new normal will be a better normal, because we will have the time that we took for granted to spend with them and invest in them, and not it just be the streets or our teachers. Glass half full. We have the time that we took for granted to invest in our children and our moms and our relationships. And that matters. That's important. And sometimes, that if we don't make time for it, God will make time for us to make time. And so take that time and take the advice of these incredible experts that are speaking life into this moment for you, to regenerate, and remember that we all got, and we're going to be better coming after this. I am going to cut mine a little short, but I am doing that because there is a true expert that I would like to introduce to you. She is the mother of 3. She is a practicing clinical psychologist right here in Chicago. I was most excited when I realized her hobbies, her very hobbies, not her work profession, her hobbies are things that heal the land in this moment. She's an expert in substance abuse, disorder, and anxiety, all the things that are relevant to now. And I feel like her platform should be given extra time, because she can speak directly to ills that we need to address. Dr. Kenise Herring is on with us now. Dr. Herring, your work and your expertise is humbling. The fact that you deal with, on a regular day, substance abuse disorder and anxiety. And we know that times like this, when you're shut in and liquor stores are deemed essential, those ills that already are ravaging our community are heightened. The anxiety, drinking, finding ways to cope. But what I would like for you, if you would please, before I exit, is to start with your hobbies, because your hobbies are making soap, gardening, exercising. And those 3 things are what can heal people and our land in a moment like this. So without further ado, thank you again, Kelly. I appreciate you. We're better together. Tell somebody to remember who polished your pebble. And hopefully it was a Nana like me. And Dr. Kenise Herring, you can have the stage.
Thank you so much, Lady Millhouse. First, I have a Nana. I had a Nana. And so to meet another Nana is an absolutely wonderful experience. I am humbled. I'm humbled to be in this group. I'm grateful to be a part of this group. And I will speak about my hobbies. I love them. But I wanna share a humbling story. Because while, like all of you, I have expertise in some things, like each and every one of us, I am incredibly human. So I listened to all of the speakers and I've learned a lot, but I was listening to Vondale talk about ways of optimally intervening with one's sons. And he didn't say daughters because he was asked to speak about sons, but I was reminded of an incident I want to share. And I'm sharing it because it's humbling. I'm sharing it because as a psychologist, I should know better. I have lots and lots of knowledge about impulse control and managing one's feelings. But on one particular morning, I don't know, probably 12 years or so ago, the child who made me mommy, who happens to be a boy, was having a particularly testy morning. And this is a wonderfully spirited, gregarious man who woke up as a baby with the glass half full and a bright smile, and he happens to be beautiful. But on this morning, I don't know what this child did. I don't remember. So, Vondale, this is how out of control I was. And mind you, I was going to see patients, did see patients that day. All I know is at some point, I was able to come to presence of mind, and I saw myself in a bra and panties in front of a huge window exposed to the house next door with this child in a headlock. And I thought, well, fine doctor you are. Now, I share that not to suggest we lose it, but to remind us that we're all human in this game. And while Vondale talked, I thought very thoughtfully about all the things we should do. As Outcast said, we can plan a wonderful picnic. I think he said a pretty picnic, but we can't control the weather. So on Sundays, we're going to get up, moms, and we're going to have the best of intentions. And we're going to lie in our beds and we're going to offer a thanks of gratitude. We're going to make a prayer. We're going to be deliberate, and something's going to go awry. And I invite us in those moments to practice compassionate acceptance. Now, what do I mean by that? Doesn't mean that I should put my kids in a headlock. I feel terrible about that, which I'm sure is why I still remember. But it does mean in that moment, I say, this went terribly. That moment's passed. The rest of the moments are available for me to do something different. And that different may be, as our previous speaker just said, taking a time out. I can't stress how important it is, moms, to take our own timeouts. We frequently put our kids on timeouts. And by the way, when I told this particular adored child of mine to go on a timeout, he would say, no, I'm not going to do timeout. So we have our challenges, but when we put our kids on timeout, we do it with the hope that they can collect themselves and feel better and come back and do better. And so let's give ourselves a timeout, Mom. If we can, and if we can't, it's fine, but if we can, give ourselves 10 minutes to breathe. So we sit and we simply breathe. We inhale and we exhale. Now, what good is that? Believe it or not, it just clears the head. It gives us some breathing room. It helps us collect ourselves and decide what we do next. It also brings us back to this moment. It doesn't remind us that we were just in a headlock, that the neighbors have seen all of our unmentionables mentioning themselves loudly. It just allows us to say, no, here, right now, as I sit on this chair, I'm going to breathe. I am going to just collect myself. That's number one. Number two, and this goes back to something I think Lady Millhouse said. We can try in those moments to find in those subsequent moments, in the moments after we've collected ourselves, something fun to do, even with children who are furious with us. And so this is a segue into the hobbies that I love. If our kids are old enough and it's safe enough, I think making soap is the most enjoyable thing one can do. Now, I happen to do it the old-fashioned way, where you take a bunch of oils and you take some lye, and some water, and you mix all this stuff together, and you mold it and color it, and you put it into a container, and then 6 weeks later, you've got soap. But they're easier because you can just melt and pour. That's great. Or you can take a bunch of old soap, melt it all down, and remix it. But I started making soap because it seemed to me a real cool thing to do, and I would always see it at the farmers markets. And I think kids love it. In point of fact, my kids love my soap. And that's a fun thing to do. I love gardening. And if you've got young kids, they love it too. Now, I happen to be a mom who doesn't like worms, and I tried my best to conceal that from my kids because I did not want them to tease me with the worms, but I would invite you to take kids out, and it doesn't matter that they're pulling up the flowers and not the weeds, or that they're playing in the dirt or any of that. It's an opportunity to do something fun and just be with them. I also invite you to bake with kids. And then if you think about it, this is a great way of integrating math and reading and all that stuff. Doesn't matter if they make a perfect batch of cornbread or not. It matters that you're doing something together, and it passes the time. Kids love it when you exercise. They will exercise with you. They will do yoga with you. I think that compassionately accepting that this is not going to be business as usual, and that there are going to be mistakes, will help us get from one moment to the next with less stress, with less drinking, and hopefully with the hope that this one moment in time is not going to be predictive of the moments that we've got ahead of us. Thank you so much for allowing me to chat with you.
Hey guys, next we're going to bring up Carla Black to join us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kanice. You are fantastic.
Well, thank you. We're all human though, right?
Exactly. So this conversation, there is nothing more that I like than a vulnerable, real, and raw conversation. And I mean, I am just floored and so honored to be here with a wonderful panel, wonderful town hall. Thank you so much, Kelly and Polished Pebbles. I really appreciate you having me. And so we're talking about vulnerability here, and we're also talking about trust. I firmly believe that trust is built in very small moments. And so this next segment, I'm really excited about. I am going to be introducing you to the international beauty expert, Chris Kurse, who is fantastic. Him and I, we were supposed to have this really fun 10-minute prep call, and it ended up being an hour and 15. And then we ended up calling each other every day. And so through this pandemic, we've learned that whatever happens to you happens for you. I'll say it again. Whatever happens to you happens for you. And that's what we have to do, is we have to take away these very small moments, these very teachable moments that we can give to our children, our sons, our daughters, and have some takeaways that we can also implement into their regimen. So in the lines of vulnerability, I want to say that I am one of those moms, one of those African-American moms, that I don't know how to do hair. And I admit this to everyone. Don't take my Black card, but I am definitely one of those people who need tutorials on how to do hair. Typically, I go ahead and I put my daughter in her puff balls, or I put her in 2 buns and call it a day, and we hit the road. But she is now at the point where she wants to be more explorative with her hair. Yeah, she definitely wants a little blow dry so that she can let it flow in the wind. And so this moment, this small moment that I'm using, this pandemic, I am now understanding how we need to experiment and elevate our children, and elevate our children through experimentation. And so organically, what's happened is that my daughter has now been going into the bathroom and doing her own hair. And it's amazing how seamless that happened. And then I was talking to Chris Curse, who is coming up right now, and I was asking him about some options, some great tutorials on what we can do and what I can do to continue to elevate my daughter. So I bring you the phenomenal Chris Curse. Chris?
Hey, how are you, Carla?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Yes. Well, I am thrilled to be here, and thank you to all of the people who were on this live. I have been a huge fan of Polished Pebbles for quite a while, and many of you may have seen me over the years, and just the idea of mentoring to women and girls has been a part of my world as a hairstylist. I am constantly trying to feed into your outer beauty, and what makes you even more beautiful is what happens on the inside. So the things that I'm able to offer are just the bonus. So I thought it was very fitting that I would kind of end now with the bonus, so that then I can kind of talk to you about how we can keep it cute in quarantine. Because I know that a lot of things are going on. And when Carla kind of presented some of her issues to me, I thought, well, you know what? There's probably a lot of moms that are really struggling with, how do I keep that energy going? How do I kind of keep me and my girls motivated while at home with their beauty regimen? Because it's so easy to just be super casual. It's so easy to just not be a part of, our regular scheduled activities. And so how do we not completely fall off? Because eventually after this is over, we need to get back into our routines. And so how can we kind of stay ahead of the game with that? So yeah. And so one of the things that I actually wanted to talk about with Carla was, how can we do that in a healthy manner? Because a lot of times when we think about how do we care for our hair, a lot of the issues is, how do we keep it healthy? So one of the things that she kind of posed to me was, well, Chris, what are some of the things that we can actually do at home? And I said, this is a great time to experiment and try some things that you may have never tried before. So trying some of the natural styles that you've considered that you didn't think were going to be appropriate for the workplace. And now, since you're on screen, that, and working from home, or they don't even see you, that you can actually give it a go. And it's a great way to keep some heat off of your hair. If you actually feel like you're overheating your hair, this is a great opportunity to try to do that. And one of the things I talked about was actually using some of your natural home ingredients. So those things you have, like your natural oils, like olive oil or coconut oil that you have at home. Coconut oil is a bit lighter than olive oil. So if your hair is thinner or finer, use the coconut oil. If it's heavier or coarser, use the olive oil. But then also, if you need to strengthen the hair, then you can actually use an egg. You can kind of mix an egg into your conditioner. I do warn you, however, don't go under the dryer, because you will scramble your hair and that egg at the same time. So, but you do want to make sure that some of those things that you do, those are additives that you can kind of just keep it cute in quarantine and condition and stay healthy.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so the other thing is that for moms, so I am one of those moms, I find a beauty product, I find a moisturizer, I'm ready to try it. I'm ready to try that new face steamer. And what I realize is, I think, oh, I'm going to set this Sunday and have this great face steam and go ahead and do this regimen. And all of it just ends up sitting in my cabinet or sitting in my drawer. And so, this is now, we're talking about these small moments. These are now the opportunities where moms break out that new curl wand that you've been wanting to experiment with, or break out that new moisturizer, or implement a new regimen, and something that you can take with you out of the quarantine. Because here's the thing, we're going to be out of quarantine, and we're going to have to implement new strategies, and this is the best time to be able to do it. And so what do you think, Chris, about, some of implementing new strategies, like with our girls and with our moms. You mentioned giving a timer. And so that when our daughters are, for example, doing their hair, or when moms are deciding to go ahead and schedule their new beauty regimens, but we have timers so that we can be able to continue it. So
that's really great, because one of the things that I want you guys to keep in mind is that here we are with Polished Pebbles. It's a mentoring organization, right? So that now, because of this circumstance, we're not able to allow your girls to come to us and be surrounded by us for this additional mentoring outside of the home. So part of what we're doing here today is trying to fuel you guys with ideas and tips on ways that you can mentor them at home. You're constantly mentoring as parents, obviously, but then there's those little things that may be the things that we sometimes do that you weren't doing at home that we can kind of give you some influence with. So, and that is a perfect example, because one of the things that we think about when you're trying to get ready for work. One of the things that you mentioned to me, which I think is a great example, is that sometimes you'll just start doing her hair because she's taking too long doing it. So that, and you're like, okay, you know what, forget it, girl. Come on, I got it. We got to get out of here. Okay, so time is of the essence. So that then now, all of a sudden, what happens is you say, now in quarantine, you can say, okay, we're going to do a game. We're going to have you, how fast can you do this ponytail? I'm going to set the time for 10 minutes. You have a 10-minute ponytail challenge. So that now it's the idea that you give her a goal, so that now she works towards that goal. Then you kind of change the hairstyle up. Now, changing the hairstyle up is not only giving her the idea of versatility, but it also stops her from creating breakage and damage by doing the same hairstyle every day. Because when you keep adding tools and things to your hair in the same place every day, you can work against it. So switching it up is super helpful. So that then that way, when you kind of say, okay, let's do this in time each one. Now, guess what happens? You're out of quarantine and you're now going, as a mom, oh, wow, I can take a little more time. She's got her hair covered. I don't have to, that's not something I have to do. Right. So that, but you actually created a game for it. You created an activity for it to make it the process a bit more fun in this time, but later on, it's going to pay off, because it's going to buy you some time as they get older and they're able to practice and do that.
Yes, thank you so much for that sage advice. So, you know, we were sitting down and we were thinking about concepts, also concepts for moms. I know that a lot of moms right now are doing virtual cocktail hours, and yeah. So we have this new idea, Chris, and we actually call ourselves the CNC Mentor Factory. Hey. And so we have this idea. So we have this new virtual New World paint and sip party, but the paint and sip party is not where you're painting on canvases. You're going to be painting your faces. A couple of our wonderful panel members had talked about how it's important for moms to be able to bring it back to themselves. I firmly believe that. I believe that as moms, we've got to like still feel cute. We still got to feel good yes. Because we've got to pass that energy onto our children. And absolutely. So this paint and sip is now this concept where you virtually get with your girlfriends, yes. grab your favorite cocktail, your sparkling water, and go ahead and you will find tutorials just like you do with any type of Zoom. You on the left, you'll bring up a favorite video, right? Yes. Yes. And then on the right, you and your girlfriends will get together and try makeup skills. Oftentimes I'm texting my girlfriends and, you know, hey, how do you do winged eyeliner? How do you make a smoky eye? I still don't know how to make a smoky eye. Hey, I'm trying to be as adorable as possible, okay? So this is the new paint and sip. And Chris and I, we really encourage you to try that with your friends and with your girlfriends. I think it's like mommy happy hour in a new way. Yes. Do you have anything that you want to add to that, Chris?
Yeah, just briefly, just to say that the key word I want to express, Carla, is be aspirational. Right now that, you know, you got a lot of advice from all of my other panelists today about just kind of finding your inner strength and that inner leadership for you as these household heroes. I also want to encourage you to remember that you're also aspirational. Your girls are watching you. They're paying attention. And as they're paying attention, they're actually noticing all of the things that you do, including your beauty regimen. so that when you actually get on to these sort of video things like we're on, actually make an effort, because we've all seen those things go viral where someone does something crazy. Now think about all the other people that were on there and now they went viral. Do you want to be looking crazy on somebody else's viral? So keep it cute, like make sure that you look good no matter what. So that this thing that you're talking about is the idea of actually saying, let's get a bit more camera ready. Let's get a bit more camera ready. And the idea is, instead of painting a canvas of some person or some vase or flowers or bowl of fruit, let's paint my face. Let's get me right. And the thing is, and then that way I know that I feel confident. And guess what? Your daughters are watching, and they're gonna really appreciate that. And so that then you are gonna appreciate that. And then it's gonna create that extra essence of that idea that you're actually exuding the beauty on the outside as well.
Yeah.
And so that then that way we get to take it to that next level. So
Yeah.
I think that it's a perfect catalyst program. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot. I have joined this organization called EdifyBeauty.com, which is designed all full of professionals that actually gear all of their information to consumers. So that way, I'm one voice of many professional voices, because so often you mentioned the YouTube thing, and I only want to mention that because so often we find people who are amateurs who provide information to you guys that's not professional information. Here's an outlet where you get professional information specifically designed for consumers. So, and that's going to be great, because you guys want to make sure that when you're testing things and trying things out, because we want you to test and then play around, but make sure that you do it the right way and it's safe and healthy and good for you and your kids.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chris. I really enjoy it. Can't wait to do some offline tutorials with you.
Yeah.
And again, as Chris said, go to edify.com. And we are definitely going to return this back to Kelly. Again, thank you so much, Kelly, for having us.
Yay! Okay, and great job, Kelly. I see you got that glam right on point, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm very proud.
Hey, as we get ready
Kelly, unmute yourself.
I was so mesmerized by the CNC Mentoring Factory. Next time we better have that theme music going as well.
No, we will have the music. We will have the music. And I want to see you guys be a part of our challenges. We're going to do a challenge for the kids and the moms. So you guys make sure you keep following Polished Pebbles Live, because CNC Mentor Factory will be back at you again. Look.
All that.
Yeah.
Chris, before you go, we mentioned to the folks in the beginning, we got deals, we got opportunities, because everybody needs to feel quarantine. So yes, you mentioned you are giving out online virtual hair consultations. Are you not?
I am. So on chriscurse.com, if you go to chriscurse.com, I actually have things that are parentheses under COVID-19. So I have some great deals for consultation, for some great deals, buy one, get one free shampoo styles when you actually get out of this situation. But more importantly, for all of you listening today, if you buy our Every Girl CEO book, that is a Polished Pebbles Kelly Fair book, then what I am going to do is you guys get a complimentary virtual session with me. So every person who buys a book after this session, you need to buy the book before Monday. Okay, get it before Monday. Now, if you start buying it next week now, okay, get it before Monday. And then you can sign up for a virtual session. And so just reach out to us at Polished Pebbles, and then I will make sure that when you want to get your beauty situation in order, I got you. Don't worry, you and the girls. And also keep in mind, tomorrow I'm going to do on my Instagram Live at the Chris Curse Instagram Live, I will actually be doing a mommy and daughter conditioning treatment from home. So sort of our You Can Do It home maintenance program. So you'll get to see that tomorrow. And so you can just follow me at the Chris Curse on Instagram, and you'll see that. And then that way you can get a taste of what you can expect just for you.
Well, Chris, we've been providing links to all of our great speakers today. I want to encourage our audience to look people up. If you got questions, I hope you've been holding them, because we're ready to go ahead and start receiving some of your questions and get connected to folks like Chris Curse. I'm so grateful that Chris is offering his wonderful consultations, which I've had a chance to be a part of. But at the same time, he is offering, if you go to kellykfair.com and get your pre-sale order of our book, Every Girl's a CEO. You will get a free consultation from Chris. And I'm telling you.
And Kelly, can you please add that your beautiful hair today was done by you after your consultation virtually. So this was not in salon, but it looks in salon.
I'm so I mean, you walked me through step by step, and just like you walked and talked Carla through too, it's the confidence that we need as we're continuing to build, and we've got to get through the quarantine, and life goes on afterwards, and life goes on now. So I'm really excited and grateful for everyone today. And to the audience, did you get your tools? Yeah. I mean, I hope everybody is feeling good. I hope that everybody felt like you've got something out of this today. This is just the beginning. We've got more coming for you. And I hope you're feeling good. I hope you got your mask on today to take care of yourself, and making sure that we put our mask on first so that we can put our girls' mask on as well. Because moms, you are the CEOs of your households. Mom, you are the CEOs of your offices, of your businesses, of the schoolhouses. We're the CEOs, women of the world, right? And so when it comes to what we need to do to nurture and support our girls, we got to start with us first. But we're setting an example when we put our mask on. We're setting an example when we get tools and resources and refuel and teach and learn, because she is watching everything that you do. You're creating a legacy of CEO life that we go on, we manifest, we succeed in the quarantine and beyond. Crises don't stop this. And for us, for women of color, for Black women, this is our legacy. We've always survived and thrived no matter what was going on. So we want to make sure that you felt equipped for you. We'll have some more activities that we want you to take a part of. So you got to go to www.polishedpebbles.com. Sign up to get our contact newsletter so you can get more information about the opportunities that we have coming up for you guys and for girls online. We want you not to just plop her in front of the computer. You need to do it with her. So some of the stuff we got coming up, we have a virtual job fair boot camp coming up. So for our girls who are preparing for summer work or they're preparing for their first job, check and follow us on www.polishedpebbles.com and all of our social media to get insight on that. What else do we have coming up? We have a master session coming up with the master mentor, and that's U.S. Congresswoman Robin Kelly. And she'll be coming up and supporting us as well. But the other thing that we're really excited about today is we want you to get your pre-sale copy of my new book, Every Girl is a CEO. It is our new document, and our new book is a career and success guide that you can purchase at www.kellykfair.com. And you can get your copy today. And as Chris mentioned, if you get your copy here on www.kellykfair.com, you will get a free consultation with him. When you get this book, you will be making sure that you're sharing your CEO life legacy with your girls. This book is a career and success guide that helps girls set and achieve goals, helps prepare them for their first job and how to get a mentor, recognizing their strengths, how to design a dream career. We're using examples from heroes and CEOs like Harriet Tubman on down to CEOs like Scott Martin of the TV show Blackers. So this is the tool that your daughter needs to make sure that she can get through and continue to dream in COVID-19 and beyond. Put her mask on today. by making sure you get your granddaughter, your nieces, your goddaughters, the girl on your block, the church daughters. Go to www.kellykfair.com and pick up your copy of Every Girl's a CEO. So I want to thank all of our guests today, but I got a couple of the things I want to share, and we go into Q&A. We do have some hotlines that we've been putting into our newsfeed from great partners that we're a part of with Polished Pebbles as Bright Star Community Outreach. If you are feeling like you need some trauma, some support at any time, but definitely through COVID-19, make sure you check our comments and get that information from Bright Star Community Outreach. They have got a trauma hotline that has been helping and supporting our community through all that we may need and encounter. And then also there's a Coalition of Urban Girls, which Polished Pebbles is a partnering organization. We're also sharing in our feed the hotline for girls. Girls are needing home resources, food. Home is not always the safest place for our girls. And so sometimes being locked up in home may keep her safe from COVID-19, but it's not necessarily keeping her safe from some of the other factors. So mention that too. And then it's census time, y'all. All the things that we need in our community, Cook County is making sure that we have different activities to keep our kids engaged, but we are getting our just due in our community. We can only get that by completing the census. There's a We Count challenge that is great for kids and for families during school closures, and you can find information on finding those challenges where you can support and engage your families, but you can also make sure that you are supporting and engaging our community as well. So I'm looking to see if we have any questions, any Q&A that you might have. And definitely, I had a couple of colleagues and friends mention, I love this person, this expert. But a lot of you are also mentioning how much you saw the need for Dr. Kenny's hearing. So I'm not sure, and I'm looking to see if I see anything in the feed when it comes to questions there. But if we can't get you now, send us your questions. You can send us an email at info@polishedpebbles.com, and we will make sure we will get those questions and those concerns to her. And again, as we mentioned, a couple of trauma hotlines as well from Bright Star Community Outreach and also from the Coalition of Urban Girls. We are here to support you. We are here to answer the questions that you may have, the support that you may need at any time. So feel free to always send us an email, send us a message at info@polishedpebbles.com. And you should go to polishedpebbles.com to sign up so you can get the updates about all the wonderful things that we have coming up in the month of May and the month of June to support you and your daughter. And of course, I'm seeing people put it up there. They're getting a copy of the book. Again, I'm going to share it again. Check out www.kellykfair.com and get your pre-sale order of Every Girl's a CEO today. It is available today. It is our career and success guide. It's making sure that every girl, whether she's on the South Side in Roseland, she's on the West Side, whether she's on the West Coast, whether she is anywhere in the world, she is a CEO. Because the reality is our girls are thriving and surviving just like we are. That's the legacy that we've taught them. So the things that they aspire to, the things that they want to do that they may think are outside of them, outside of their resource bank, outside of their community, if they are recognizing and get this book, Every Girl's a CEO, they will realize that they too are a CEO right where they're sitting. So make sure you go to kellykfair.com and pick up your pre-sale order of Every Girl is a CEO today. Breon Ashley, I see a message from you. You're getting your copy. Thank you. We are so fortunate to have such a wonderful community of ambassadors, board members, volunteers, parents, people who clap, people who share. Please share this live. Please share this information. Please follow us and like us on all of our different social media platforms. This is how the work continues. And this ain't about Kelly Fair. This ain't about nothing. It's really about community and the divine spirit and inspiration that is in each one of us. So thanks for being our Mommy and Me Polished Pebbles community. Look at all the guests coming back up. It's like a party. All right. And the party keeps going. Yeah. Oh, we got the mugs. Chris got the mugs. Carla got a mug. I got a mug too, and it's from one of my favorite coffee houses. It's local here in Chicago, Black Flavor. That's right. We're keeping it going because we're all coming back and continue to thrive and strive in COVID-19. Hey, Marita. Hey, Dr. Gia. All right. And I saw Dr. Herring as well. Thanks to Lady Millhouse. Thanks to Vondell Singleton. Thanks to Martha Nichols and that dope pink and animal print combo. Yes, because moms are fine and we're cute, as you all are doing everything that we do. That's what being a Cheryl mom looks like. So thank you guys for your leadership. Thank you to the community. Please share, like, and we look forward to sharing with you again. Have a good one. Yay!